we're going to go ahead and start our second panel. First, I just want to let you know that if you're approached by a stranger, it's probably going to be a HomeGain person asking for a video testimonial. So feel free to say anything glowing, wonderful about HomeGain. Our second panel, as you can see, is on AgentView. And as Lewis explained, this is a bundled set of services for agents which will allow them to blog with consumers, upload their listings, post a professional bio, essentially get a whole lot of additional exposure, more visits to their website. Our speaker and panelist is Brian Kincaid with Cherry Creek Professionals Realty. He's a broker, sits on Denver Board of Realtors, and has the following designations: GRI, ABR, ePro, and CRS, and over a decade of experience in the industry. So let's welcome Brian Kincaid.
Good morning. I wanted to hopefully impart some experience that I've had with AgentView, and hopefully you'll find some nuggets that you'll be able to apply and find useful. Before I start, how many people in the audience use AgentView in your business? We have probably about 10 maybe. Oh, okay, let me get a little closer. Can you hear me now? Okay, let me get this a little closer. So I'm counting about 10 or so people that use AgentView in their business model. And so that'll give me a little idea as I get into this about how to approach this and how to maybe help you better. When I first started with AgentView, I was fairly new. It was source for sellers at that point and new to marketing to seller leads. And so I was at that point looking to promote myself. Now I'm a team leader, so I look at it a little bit differently. If you have your own brokerage, you might look at it a little bit differently again. And then if you have promote your listings, promote your niches, your farm areas. And so it really does have a lot of opportunity to help advance your business. My goal is to dominate my market, and some of you may already be there in your business strategies. And if you're not there, hopefully you'll find that this is another tool in your toolbox, as I say to my team a lot. So I kind of thought about there's probably a variety of people in different positions as they're starting their business here. I was new to it. One of the friends that referred me to HomeGain back then was October 2006, and I was looking to build my sphere, build my database, figure out this whole internet marketing thing. And at that point, one of the advantages I found, since I didn't have a CRM system, was to use the AgentView database or source for seller database as my lead management database. So I just contributed to the existing leads that I captured through the AgentView portal. And so I found it to be pretty manageable. It has the built-in drip marketing, and you'll find that it's common sense in managing your leads. So as the product has developed, I've come to really understand how this is really a complete online marketing system for the new agent and for the existing agent or has been around the block a few times. I think it also can be a complete resource to help provide full service to your leads, to your potential clients. And what the nice thing about it is, some blogs I've been around the block with technology as well, and for me to set up a blog, WordPress blogs are pretty popular right now, and I'd have to go pick my theme. I'd have to go get into the back end a little bit, so to speak. And with AgentView, your blog is up and running in potentially 15 minutes from the time they flip the switch, and it goes live into your zip code area. If you've got pretty good presence already, what the AgentView product, if you've got a particular farm, you can lock in your zip codes and help as another proof or confirmation that you are the local area specialist. And for those that are looking for new ideas, how can I enhance my business, this provides another avenue to, through the different tools involved, to expand that, and I'll get into a little bit of that. Basically, the nice thing about the whole AgentView product being a suite of tools that continues to grow, and every time I turn around, there's a new feature added. The Street Views was a recent one, and they provide an avenue to, in an ad-free environment, to promote your profile, your information, as well as to promote your listings, as a lead capture, as an opportunity to promote yourself through your blog. And then they also provide some on-site content where the deeper you get into website development, you'll realize just how much of a joy that is or isn't, depending upon how much you like to write. And so the reinforcing that you are the neighborhood expert, sometimes obviously you want to get if you can, you want to be high up on the search engines. You want to have your map, your website, reinforcing that. But what it allows you to do with your profile is to reinforce that if they meet you either at an open house or somewhere else, and their first thing people are going to do is go Google you, or many times these days. And if they can find your profile on HomeGain, whether it's your website, if you have a good current presence there, or they find you on your HomeGain profile, if they search your first and last name, many times you want to be filling up the first page, and if not, first several pages, to show that you've been around the block on the internet a little bit. The other thing that's got a little bit, which is a benefit, is having a link to your website. If you already have a website, a link will come in directly to your site. And anytime you can throw another avenue to transcend to your site, and if you have an IDX system that will convert the lead, then that's another avenue to help capture that person. And so I say provide service unconditionally. AgentView is not a product that I think that you can stand up your blog and just any lead conversion, whether it be buyer link or anything, that you can expect instant business from. You have to lay the groundwork. And I'll tell you, up till about the first of this year, I worked with buyer link quite heavily, and at that point, I wasn't really too interested in seller leads. And now that our market's starting to stabilize just a little bit, my interest is peaked. Plus, I want to position myself to be further down the road than hopefully most other people in the market, so that I'll have the opportunity to capture as many listings at that point, as many sellers at that point. And often you'll find, and this is the funny thing with BuyerLink and buyers in general, is that they'll come in, you won't know unless you ask the question whether they have a home to sell. And many agents don't ask that question, so you'll go show them a few houses, and they'll say, oh, by the way, I think I kind of like to work with you, and maybe, I have a home to sell. Can you help me with that as well? And so either you're going to catch them on the front side or the back side, and I'd rather know going into it, if I can, that they have a property to sell. And I think it kind of changes this gives me a little more information as I deal with these people. When I do the home values for these folks, when I first started, I did everything through the back end provided by agent source or sellers at that point. And it has the built-in email campaign system, lead database system, and it really is an end-to-end tool if you're not already down the road with your own CRM systems. And but what I felt, and I guess this is me being Brian in general, is I like to be as detailed as possible when I provide them information. And I pretty much do all the leads that come into AgentView. I have a team of agents, and so I want to be in control of this piece of it. And as I feel like the market starts to pick up, then I'll start dishing out leads to other agents in my office, on my team. But be detailed and be thorough in your explanation. And I'm seeing a lot of folks that are interested in the market at this point. They're not ready to buy or sell. but a few are, and a few are buyers that want to. They want to buy the house. They're renting the property in question, or they're buyers that want to investors, stuff like that. And so I think it just helps show that you're the expert, that you know the market, the more information you can give them. And when I say don't expect something in return, and because I do a lot of work for AgentView, and I know I'm laying the groundwork, and it's kind of like the 6-month thing with the buyer leads, is that these people that are interested in the market, at some point they will want to sell, and I do things to stay in front of them so that when that time comes, I'll be one of the people they call, if not the only person they call. And one of the ways I do that is like every person that comes in, just like we sell out the email updates for the buyers, I put them on email updates for their subdivision or their market area. So I'm not hitting them every day with listings, but I am giving them the listing market data, just as if you were in a farm area and sending out market data postcards or anything like that, or newsletters. And so follow up, that's one thing that I picked up over the years from Mitch. And basically, with any leads, buyer, seller, anything, the biggest thing is persistence, and eventually, if they don't buy sooner, they'll buy later. The one thing about blogging is that some people are comfortable with it, some people aren't. Some people kind of figure out it's an ongoing process, and some days you feel like blogging about something. Some days you don't really feel like blogging, but you maybe take a low-hanging fruit and talk about something else. And but the HomeGain's blog school is very good for getting the nuts and bolts of it, and there's a lot of good resources online. But the biggest thing is that you take the time. There's great information that all you have to do is go to the Resources Center and discover. And across the board, and I think on all their products, and I think that's probably underutilized, and I'll admit sometimes I don't utilize it as much as I should, but I think it's a great resource for you. And with blogging, I always, whether I'm in person or on a blog, I want to be myself and be transparent. They'll smell you out if you're not. Blog purposefully and often. And this is the one thing I think that one of the things that I've done better at and I continue to work on is continuing to own that blog. And many people, they'll write, they'll have their blog profile up and maybe they'll put a few listings up, and you're just kind of going to expect that people will find you, and they will find you. But the more you blog on your profile and your AgentView account, the more they're going to see that you're committed, and it's not just HomeGain provided content. It's you that you're putting your information on, and you want to allow them to find out who you are, and hopefully pick up the phone and call you from there. But otherwise, without that, it's only as good as what the work you put into it, and that's many times whether you're doing any kind of the products or you're doing your business in general. You can write about your farm, your niches, your product, and try to help show why they should hire you over anyone else that's online, which at that point is probably most of who they're talking to. Really, and this came up before about the phone calls, how are you going to reach out and touch the people? And I think that I can't believe how many people still uncomfortable with picking up the phones, but they do. And really, while that's not the only way to convert, that's a big increase and more bang for your buck. And then the follow-up calls, and a lot of times people will call once, but they won't schedule a follow-up call. And without that, you're just a blip on the radar. And you want to continue to follow up until they say, hey, I'm ready to do something now. And you're the person they want to talk to. Yeah, so the phone calls, the email campaigns. HomeGain has a nice set of default campaigns that you can work with when you start out. And otherwise, if you have your own CRM system, depending upon the type of lead that comes into AgentView, you may set them up on a seller drip or a buyer drip campaign. And that's kind of an avenue for you. A checking in, I have to testament to Mitch's comment about the checking in email. Whether you have a buyer lead or a seller lead, you want to have a built-in checking in note and periodically. And what I do with my seller leads is I send them the CMA and I tell them I'm going to follow up with them on to see if they have any questions about what I sent them. And they'll often, if I don't have, either way, whether I have time or don't have time, my email campaign is going to check in with them, and I'll get some responses at that point. I had a funny experience a while back when it was early days for me in Source for Sellers, and you have a customizable section that you can put in information, personalize it a little bit. And at that point, I was promoting a home warranty with any buyer or seller, and I, of course, being verbose as sometimes I am, I had put in too much content. So it wasn't sending out the initial campaign. It was all my fault. But so the first email with the evaluation didn't go out. But the second email that HomeGain has built in to their system is a checking in. They have one as well. So you have that ability. I was getting emails back saying, no, I didn't get your home valuation. When did you send it? And so then I was getting red flagged that, hey, somebody's not getting something. So, but when we checked into it, it was all my fault. So. But they did give me a little more room on the allowable text there. So, so the one thing else that follow through. So if you say you're going to do something, sometimes it's pretty much common business sense, but make sure you pursue anything that you might say you're going to do during the course of it. The one different thing that I'm practicing with is the custom postcards that I'm having created for my client base, but as well as any seller lead that comes in and registers. Since I have an email address then, I'm going to put them into my database for drip marketing. And my strategy is to every month, and 1 month is going to be for sellers, and another month is going to be for buyers. And that way I can catch them at either position that they're at. And if nothing else, it's going to reinforce the quality of marketing that I send out. I know I've never really felt comfortable with recipes or calendars, and so I've hooked up with a marketing company that's going to do a custom piece every time it goes out. And hopefully that'll be dynamic so that as the market changes, as things change, I'm going to be able to add a twist to it here or there. And so I have some samples in case anyone wants anything to see one. And I'm going to provide some feedback on how that works. With your blog, again, it depends on, I guess it doesn't depend on, but it can benefit whether you have your own website already or whether you're starting out your business and you want to promote your blog. Basically, I don't blog for the sake of blogging. And so when I'm blogging, I want to either talk about something or talk about a market area. And so when I'm doing that, I'm already spending more time than I have to spare. And so I want to make sure that people can find my blog, and when they search for a keyword, which is hopefully something to do with what you're writing about. And so you're going to have the fortunate benefit of working with Eric Blackwell in a session later. And so I'm not going to get into too much detail, but make sure your title reinforces what your blog article is about, and insert like a keyword. If you're writing, in this case, Pressmore Park real estate, that should be somewhere in your content in addition. And there's a very good chance that if they search for that, they'll probably find that when they Google that up. So if you, I come from an IT background, so I'm very direct, but I see some blog titles that are, let's just say, not very searchable. And some people blog about what they had for lunch or whatever, and unless it's pizza or something that somebody's going to be looking for, I'm not sure how that's going to benefit your real estate business. And so make sure you put something in there that's going to help, and you're going to learn about some of this. Titles, again, make sure it's something somebody's going to search for. Content, make sure it's, something that somebody's going to want to read. In this case, one of the campaigns you could say that I'm doing is writing about the local areas. And so I want them to know that I know about these areas, and then I want them to hopefully give me a call. Hey, I'd like to see some homes in Crestmore Park, and something along that line. Again, blog often, because I see so many, and I was guilty of it as well. If you look at my blog, the first few months I didn't blog, and then I maybe put one or two posts up there, and then now I'm committed. And people are going to see that, and you'll see that on several other people with AgentView. But when you see that you're posting 5, 10, 20 blogs a month, hey, this is important to you, and if it's important to you, maybe it's important to them. Write tactfully. I guess that kind of depends on what you're writing about, and I always like it to be something to do with real estate, or to show my skill or something I'm working with. And track your successes. You will be able to, should be able to identify whether you get an inquiry through the questionnaire box or whether you get a direct email. But just something that we should do in general, whether you're any kind of internet marketing or marketing in general. This is probably one of the best things, one of the best latest updates. And it's in promoting your office listings. And so it was manual in the past, and wasn't something I spent a lot of time on. And so I would upload it manually. Wasn't always the latest up listings. And if you have a website or you have an ability to get hooked up with an XML feed, that will update all of your office listings into the HomeGain profile. And that's not only at this point, then it's a tool for capturing sellers, but now it's a tool for capturing buyers and for selling your listings. And HomeGain technical support will help you out on that. I had a few things, but they'll have to be in a certain format in a way that you'll be able to. So I don't touch this. I mean, they're automatically uploaded just as if they're on my website every day. So that's pretty cool. So I know I've kind of talked real fast here, but I've been around the block a little bit with technology as well as with the real estate stuff and the website stuff, and I really think there's huge value in the AgentView blog. I think we are easily, there's so many blogs out there. Where do you write at? What's going to give you the more bang for the buck? And if you're already associated with HomeGain, with BuyerLink, or with Agent Evaluator, it's really a no-brainer to get AgentView and put some work into it. Put some content on there that's going to bring people to your site to reinforce that you are who you are. Spend the time to write and craft your profile. Many times people don't even update what the description of the blog is, and I think that's helpful for showing that you care about it. It can increase your web presence. It's very internet friendly, and so the more you write about, the more people are going to find you and find your listings and find your website. Be the neighborhood expert. Again, depends on what you write about, your niche. And the biggest thing is follow up, and you can use it to help show that you're the listing agent in the area that they want to hire, or that you're the person that they should use either for any of their business real estate needs. So Q&A. Actually, that's a common practice out there that you shouldn't be. It should qualify who you use because they represent you. And so it's not a bad thing to find a local writer, and that will possibly post something on your blog or send you the I prefer to receive the content and edit it, because I don't want somebody to automatically pump something out and all of a sudden it's got a bad word or a misspelled word. It represents me. So definitely check into local writers, either Craigslist or find somebody, a college student or somebody like that, and then give them some direction on what you want to have them write on. And that's a great avenue to help supplement your efforts. And in this marketplace, you can get it done for fairly inexpensive. If you're doing it for $10, $20 a post, that's about right. I mean, you can go overseas and possibly get it for $1 a post, but it's not quite local. And I think that, and I participate on a number of blogs, whether I'm guest authoring or whether I'm writing my own content. And so I have a certain core group that I need to prepare for every week, and so that kind of gives me some material. And the other thing is, you may already have content available that you've written somewhere else, and obviously it's got to be unique. So in addition to people that write original content, one thing you may consider is rewrites, and there's people that specialize in that, and they spin the content so that it's unique again, but it has to be over 35 or more percent rewrite, they call it, and they can supplement that with additional information as well. So in this case, I've been having I have abundance of content, so sometimes if I'm busy, I know I'm going to be tied up, then I'll just go ahead and work that angle.
If I may, let me just make a quick comment. The mic turned on. If you attend the AgentView breakout session, you'll see a couple of the things that Joseph Ferrara will tell you. First, a blog post does not have to be a novel. It can be a couple of paragraphs, something of interest. Obviously, you want to talk about specific information that Google and Yahoo and the major search engines will pick up. You have an exclusive zip code or zip codes, therefore you dominate that market. You understand what the market is, what the trends are, so you want to talk about that. Now, one of the things that Joseph will counsel you to do is to keep a notebook. You get an idea, write it down. That way, when you do sit down, you're not thinking about what you want to do. Once you get the topic, you'll be mulling it over in the back of your head, and when it comes time to actually generate the post, it's simple. You sit down and type it. Now, one of the other things he suggests doing is setting a schedule. Don't let that be random. Set aside some time in your day, and that's when you sit down and blog, and that's when you pick up that notebook and go, oh, this is what I was going to talk about. So in terms of content, not only does it have to be specific in terms of keywords, so that you are getting those good search results, but you can help educate consumers as to your market area, the trends in the market area. You can help set their expectations so that when you actually do have that face-to-face, you may have brought them a little bit closer to reality, because this obviously is a battle that all of us fight every day, is the poor set of expectations on both buy and sell side. So you can use your blog posts to talk about what has happened to housing prices, say, what buyers can expect to buy, what sellers can expect to get from their homes. And this will pave the way for a much smoother close. So just a couple of suggestions, but for those of you who are interested, talk to Joseph, because he does run the Celsius Real Estate blog and has a ton of tips. On our website, for those of you who are HomeGain members, if you look in the Resource Center area, which you all have in your accounts, there's 40-plus blog lessons that he's generated, and they talk about all the do's and the don'ts of blogging. One of the really key things is original content. You really don't want to use other people's content. It's best not to have to attribute a quotation from them, but strictly avoid that. Come up with your own ideas, and that way you'll avoid a lot of the pitfalls in blogging.
And it really can, it's a little bit of work. It's just something I know I struggle with still, and I keep pushing myself because I think it's worth it, both on a search engine basis. I want to be ever present on the internet, and the more I put out there, the more I'm going to get back. And if I'm not, I'm building a base, and some of my posts will be found a year from now. So I'm not, I'm putting the pole out in the water, I'm throwing a net out there, and the more that net, I tune that net and get it in the right place, the more potential leads I'm going to have. The one thing I wanted to address is also on your HomeGain profile, it kind of addresses both needs. I go to a lot of internet marketing conferences, and some sides of the fence will say, well, the blog's great for getting them to warm up to you. Once they warm up to you, then they'll pick up the phone and call you. In some circles, like the buyer link, we're all about lead conversion, lead capture. Well, this has both. So you really get the best of both worlds. When they register for a home valuation, you've got the contact information. You've got the phone number, which is even better than any kind of, than maybe 50% of the leads that we might get captured through buyer links. So it's really up to you at that point to make or break that lead. And sometimes I'll have them drop in that box that you saw up there earlier. They'll drop their whole email, they'll write me a whole note with their property address, and then that's the way of sending me a notification that they want me to give them a value on their property. And of course, then I invite them for a personal inspection for the best estimate, and that's when I have a better chance of sealing the deal. But the other thing too, and we haven't really talked about, well, Mitch talked about qualifying his leads in the luxury, people that work luxury market. And you never know what kind of a lead you're going to get. I get proper leads that come in with, $30,000 condos, and I get leads that come in with $1 million and $2 million property requests. So, I mean, it doesn't take too many of those, and they've made your year. And the way I look at the whole internet marketing thing is I'm not, it's unpredictable, but I have faith that I put enough out there and invest in the right places that I'm going to get a return on investment, and that's pretty much how I run my operation. It's a little abstract sometimes, and it's kind of blogging as abstract time investment there. Once you do more of it, the easier it's going to get, the more proficient you're going to get at it. So I've gotten a little better at that. And so it's not as predictable, but it's the one thing that I remember that I did, and I don't know, I guess we all have certain stories we don't like to brag about too much. But I went to, well, we'll just say a company, because I'm not sure if I should say the name. But anyways, I had a banner and a side banner ad, and I spent a chunk of change on that. And I was, really come to find out it was, they say it was branding, but I was really branding there. I was on their site. And with this product, I'm branding myself and branding me and my team. For the bang for the buck, and the other thing is you can go a lot of other places and spend a whole lot more money. A lot more money than I think this is quite reasonable. I do, because I'm laying the groundwork. I mean, again, a year ago, I wasn't too excited about working with sellers. We had a lot of foreclosures in Denver. And so now with our market stabilizing a little bit, I want to set the base for working with more sellers. More sellers brings more buyers. And so I don't expect with any lead to see a conversion tomorrow or a month from now. It's great when it happens, but a lot of it is laying the groundwork for the turn in the market. And some of the things like the postcards and different things that I'm doing a little bit differently, trying to think out of the box as far as how I can get in front of these people and reinforce that I'm the guy they should hire. So really, it's kind of a couple different things in the sense the blogging is a piece of AgentView. But that's how you control your time and how efficient you are at blogging. The CMA piece of it, I've gotten a little bit better at being streamlined at that. And actually, since I use my own CRM system, I send my leads out, my response out in regular email. But I've gotten a little smarter at that as well, in that at first they get an email from me, Brian Kincaid from, Cherry Creek Professionals. They didn't necessarily try and tie me back to the home cart. So now I start the introduction saying, hey, you recently asked for a home valuation on HomeGain. I'm a valued partner with them. And I actually set a link back to the zip code of where they registered on. That way they can go confirm that, hey, I am who I say I am. And then I lead into the home valuation, talk about the different ranges in my actual sales data, attach a few market reports, and then invite them to contact me if they want me to come out and see their property. Customer relationship management. And basically, it's the back end for many websites have it, and sometimes they're stronger than others, or it can be a separate standalone lead management. I give them the information. There's some natural vagueness because I haven't seen their property yet, and I say, well, for the best estimate, I need to see your property in person. And that's kind of my hook, because I'm still giving them ranges. I'm still telling them what their listings range is and what the sales range is. So depending on my comfort zone, that range can be narrower or tighter. And so that kind of depends on their little niche market. It's an avenue that's worth pursuing if you have agents who are open to that. And I currently have agents that are more open to still being buyer agents. And so our market isn't quite there where listings are the best thing. And then also it depends on their position on that. But so I'd say the biggest thing, and when I talk to other people, whether you're doing buyer link, AgentView, or anything, is where the rubber meets the road are your agents and how dedicated they are and how committed they are to the success of their business. I do have links. There's a nice little tool available that visit my HomeGain blog, and I put that on my other blogs so that I can get traffic back to HomeGain. It's just another avenue, and then it takes them right into there. So there's a widget available for that. And whether you can do the home valuation widget too, where if they visit and register for home valuation, it's going to end up in your lead pool.
Okay, great. Well, we'll go ahead and take another short break here, and then our next session is at 11:30 about how to sell the value of home staging to sellers. Thank you. Thanks, Brian.